But apparently the big star of Bravocon was Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Teresa.
And I'm Emily.
This is No Ordinary Friendship.
We've been best friends for forever. And while life has tried to keep us apart,
we won't let it. Join us as we catch up on pop culture, parenthood, and whatever's on our minds.
We promise a short break from real life, just for a little bit.
We all have our people.
And now you are one of them.
Episode 10.
Yes, here we go. We're hitting double digits. Hopefully more people tune in. For those
of
you,
fun just to chat.
It is. It's very fun and a good mind break for me because my younger daughter Cassie is sick, home from school for the second time in 2 weeks. So we have definitely entered sick season.
Yeah. You should just keep a calendar so you can just keep marking it.
And shout out to Victor for taking one for the team so that we can continue to record and not have to miss a week.
Did they go out for a walk?
They did.
Nice.
So we'll talk fast.
Freedom.
Okay, let's jump into it. Apologies and corrections.
Yeah, the first one that I put on here is my almond milk. So a couple weeks ago or a couple episodes ago, I talked about how I made almond milk. I was so proud and it was so gross. I did some troubleshooting and I figured it out, Emily. I figured it out. So I don't know if it's an apology. I guess it's a correction on my own mistake. But so the almond milk, all the ingredients were right. But the jar that I put it in, I had only washed it. And what was in there before, it's a glass mason jar. I made pickled onions. And so there was like a bunch of vinegar in there. And I should have like sanitized it or run it through the really hot dishwasher to get all of that stuff out. But once I poured like boiling hot water in there and then I remade the almond milk, same exact ingredients, same exact expired vanilla extract, and it tasted fantastic.
Oh, wow.
So, highly recommend making your own almond milk.
So really it was just because it was pickled onion flavored almond milk?
It was, ew, girl.
That sounds really disgusting.
Disgusting, yeah. It's because there was so much vinegar in there for probably 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
That it made this batch of almond milk just really gross.
That reminds me of, did you ever see, there was like a clip circulating on social media where it was kind of like one of those like daytime or like news type segments, and this woman had made like an artichoke dip or something, and one of the hosts tries a bite and his face immediately like changes and he's like, at first I thought it was okay, but just so much vinegar. And she goes, I didn't put any vinegar. And he was like, oh.
So did it just go bad?
I don't know. Like they never got to the bottom of it, but I was also like, wow, he took like a really aggressive bite.
It's funny how it always comes back to vinegar, the good and the bad.
Yes. Okay, I have one quick correction as well. I told a story about how Victor needed help from a kind stranger when he took Charlie ice skating. And I was like, oh, this old white woman, but it was actually a kind Black woman. So just wanted to set the record straight when you're visualizing it in your head. But he was okay with me telling that embarrassing story.
Thank you to that lady that helped pour Victor out, that single dad.
Okay.
All right, let's get into pop culture.
Yes.
Oh, no, breaking news. I'm sorry.
Yes, breaking news. Tell me your lowdown on Bravocon.
My lowdown, even though I didn't go. So do you know what Bravocon is for our listeners?
I do from you. So it sounds like it's like a convention where all the Bravo celebrities go. And I don't know what else happens. There's like panels. And I only know also because I follow Paige and she went. Paige from Giggly Squad.
So Bravocon is a 3-year-old, it just sounds ridiculous. It's a conference. It's a conference for all the Bravo celebrities and all their fans. And it's gotten really large. It used to be in New York, and this is the first year ever that they had it in Vegas. And so it's getting larger and larger. When I found out I was going to be in Vegas, I was committed to going. I was like, I'm going to get tickets. I even booked a hotel, Emily.
Oh my gosh, you did?
And I was trying to convince my other friend that's super into Bravo to go as well. But she works at a company where like November and December are like crazy for her. So she wasn't able to commit. And I was like, Steven, do you want to go to Vegas? He was down to go, but because it was so difficult to get tickets.
Wow.
that I wasn't able to secure any. So, I mean, I still could have gone or I could have bought it secondhand, but it's not cheap. It was like a couple $100s just for one day. And then if you want to do the full weekend conference. But anyways, it's a conference. It's just silly calling it a conference because I think of like tech conference when I say that. But Paige, you're right, was there. And when I looked at the schedule, it's structured like a regular conference. We have your keynote speakers, your breakout panels. In the convention center, they have booths. So a lot of the Bravo celebrities, they want to monetize, right? And so they like have pillows, they have
merch.
Merch. Yeah, they have merch. They have, I don't know, like alcohol and things like that. So you can go through all of them. So in my head, I was like, this is going to be the best thing ever. It's a network that is highly funded. And I watched some of the stuff on Peacock. They had live panel streaming. And I was like, thank God I did not go. And well, that was my first initial thought because I've only ever been to tech conferences and they really shell out the money. It looks really professional. Like, what an event. The stuff that I saw on Peacock, one of the breakout panels was like in the hallway or something. And so it was right in front of the escalators. And so they kind of utilized the escalators as like their stairway down.
I
like,
think I saw Paige go down the escalator.
Yeah. So, like when they announced them, like they go down the escalator, I was like, I guess
so
that's
awkward.
really creative. Because if you think about the breakout rooms at a hotel or at a convention center, they're just a small room that are kind of even really well decorated. They're like not that great. Like, can you imagine a Bravo celebrity all decked out in their Vegas wear, like sitting in the back and then walking to the front?
That's true.
But then they adding more content on Peacock, and they actually show the major events, like the keynote speaker, if you want to equate that to a tech conference or whatever. And it looked really cool. It was it was like 125 Bravo celebrities. So like the Housewives, Paige, Summer House, and Sailing Below Deck.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, Below Deck show that we love.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're there. But you can tell that there are hierarchies in the Bravo world. So Housewives definitely think they're on top. They are. They're the big money makers. They're like the original ones. And then next, I don't even know who's next. But even within Housewives, there's different cities and different people within each of the cities.
They don't like hang out with each other, so it's like high school.
I think they do all hang out with each other, but like the premise of each of the show is like almost being a little shady. And so during these major like main stage events, sometimes, you know, some of their games are just like asking shady questions and like making them beef it out. One of the couples on Summer House, the show that Paige is on, they got engaged and then now they called off their wedding that was supposed to happen like this week or next week. But
because
like
of
everyone
Bravocon?
No. But Bravocon was the first time that they were talking or even seeing each other since the breakup. And I was like, wow, this is just glorious content.
Do you want to go
live
next
for.
year? Like if it's in Vegas again?
I would love to go again next year.
I don't know anybody, but I'll go with you.
Okay, come with me.
I mean, I love Vegas.
I was laughing like by myself watching the show or like not the panels because I thought those are kind of like sad, but the actual like keynote stuff with Andy Cohen. And I was like, Steven, can we go next year? He was like, yeah, if it's in Vegas. He's like, I'll just go to Vegas with you. And I was like, no, you have to come to the conference with me. And he was like, no, I don't think so. I was like, no, you have to. Like, I don't have anyone to go with. I don't
Maybe
want to
we
just roam
could
around
do
by
like
myself.
we could do like a live podcast from Bravocon.
Okay,
I don't really know like what all that entails, but it sounds very sexy, right?
I feel like you need to watch some more Bravo shows. You're gonna be like,
I know.
Who's this? Who's
That'll
that?
be my homework. I'll have like a binder.
For the next year. But I told him it's not any. He was like, I don't know any of these people. I don't have any feeling towards them. But I was like, I go to football games with you. Yeah. I don't know any of those people. I go and show up. I support. I don't just like hang out in the parking lot.
Totally. Yeah, he should reciprocate.
So once I put it that way, he was like, all right. And
Well,
there were lots of men.
I heard from Paige from Giggly Squad this week, and I also listened to The Toast just to give it another chance, and she talked about going to Bravocon. But apparently the big star of Bravocon was Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
And I thought that
he's
was
a celebrity.
hilarious. Somehow he has like weaseled his way into the Bravo world.
Yeah, I think State Farm sponsored a lot of it. So Paige actually did some work for that. She's definitely a hustler.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the update. And
Yeah,
I'm
you're welcome.
totally down next year.
They do fun things, but a lot of the stuff has inside jokes, Emily. And
You can just explain it to me after.
it's really fun and silly. Like they had this whole, like in the Oscars, they have like in memoriam or like the people that we lost in the past year. So they did like little montages of like silly, petty drama. Like this woman lost a $60,000 ring and wouldn't shut up about it for like an entire episode. And they're like, Lisa Barlow's $60,000 ring gone.
Oh my gosh, a $60,000 ring. I would talk about it the whole episode too.
Yeah, I think I would too. Okay, that's my update.
Okay, that was way more exciting than mine, which I don't even want to bring it up, but I don't know if you heard. I think you did. Everyone in the world did. That WeWork filed for bankruptcy. And I just thought that was so interesting because, it was so hot for a while. I worked in a WeWork for a good amount of time at my last job. I never was a huge fan, so I don't feel that sad, but it's just crazy. I feel like it's like a sign of the times, and also post-COVID, it probably just like lost a bit of its footing.
Did you ever watch their documentary?
No, I don't think so.
I think it was on, wait, no, sorry, it wasn't a documentary. It was Anne Hathaway played the girlfriend or the wife of the CEO.
Oh, really? I never watched it.
I think it was called maybe We Crashed.
Oh.
I think. It was really good. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
I've seen all the tech docudramas and like real documentaries thanks to Steven. And that one was actually good. But you can see like how kind of crazy the CEO was and their downfall too. So I'm not, I guess we shouldn't be too surprised that they filed for bankruptcy.
They grew, I feel like so many companies that grow too quickly, that can happen.
Mm-hmm. And they kept calling themselves a tech company when they were just a real estate company.
Yeah, what tech did they offer?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they had an app. Okay, next one.
I put in the breaking news section the post office. This is like late breaking news because I went to the post office yesterday and I never have any bad feelings towards the post office. I was like, they're honorable people. They come and deliver our mail, rain or shine, like through all types of different weather conditions. But when you actually go into their office or their whatever, like pickup station or drop-off station, are they like the DMV? Are they the new DMV or have they always been like this?
They have always been like that. Like going to the post office is notoriously slow. Like unless you're lucky and you happen to go during a non-peak time, you got to just be ready to like hunker down. At least in my experience.
Okay.
They're not nobody there seems to be measured on efficiency, same with the DMV. So it doesn't feel like they're encouraged to move fast. I guess for them, they're like, I'm here for this amount of time. It doesn't matter how many people I get through. And so that's my experience.
I was there. I was ready to hunker down because I don't expect them to be efficient by any means. The line was like 10 people deep when I got there. There were 2 people working. There's probably space for like 8 people to be working, but I get it. They're probably understaffed.
Yeah.
But this guy that was working there, why was he so rude? He was yelling at every single person in line. We were literally standing there quietly, silently in line, actually. Nobody was even like, or anything like that. Like, he was just like, you have to be 100% ready, 100% ready. That means your package is sealed, it's closed, the shipping label is on it, and all the addresses are written. Get your wallet out, get your like ID out. I need to see everything. Be 100% ready when you get here because I got to get this line going. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get my ID out. Like, even though that takes 2 seconds, I was like ready to go. The only other thing I was doing was texting you, Emily. And I was really nervous because he was actually yelling at people. And I got really annoyed because why are you so rude?
Yeah.
So that is, okay, so that was like awareness, right? Like you're setting everyone up for success. But when I actually got to the front of the line, I told him I was there to pick up a package. I told him I didn't have the actual label where he scans, but I have the tracking number because in SF, I think people just take things all the time. So it must be a regular occurrence. And he was like, okay, you have everything, move to the side. And then he helped somebody else. I was like, What about me?
Yeah.
So he just moved me aside. He later talked to me like 2 minutes later, but he helped out this other woman and he berated her for having her shipping label. He was like, next time, do not tape this on the envelope because it's not supposed to go here. It's supposed to go on the backside. And I was like, you were just yelling at everyone for 10
He's
minutes.
got, like a power trip.
Yeah, but he was just telling everyone for 10 minutes to
have everything done, right?
Have everything ready, yeah. And so she automatically gave attitude back.
Yeah.
And I was like, if he didn't give attitude, then she wouldn't give attitude. And we could just all be in a more pleasant, positive environment together. Because then I got all heated too. And I was committed, Emily, because I was picking up the bras that you recommended.
Yeah. You got to get those bras.
I got to get them. Anyways, I got them. I was really mad, though. And I was just thinking, can't we just all be a little bit kinder? And it smelled really bad in there.
Oh,
so
no.
I think that put everyone in a bad mood, too.
That's so funny. I had an experience with like a rude customer service person, too. I guess not customer service, but we went to the SF Zoo last Sunday, which was daylight savings. And for those of you locals, apparently the zoo now opens at 9:30 instead of 10 after daylight savings ends. But there was one of those little food stalls by the playgrounds. And it was already like 10:30 or close to 11 at that point. So I went up to the guy and I was like, hi, what time do you open? He's like, I can't give you a time. When my light is on and this window is open, then I'm open. And I was like, what?
Jeez.
Like, that makes zero sense, first of all. Like, the zoo has been open for over an hour. And then, so, like, he just, like, seemed very grumpy, too. Yeah. And then later on, I bought some Dippin' Dots, but me and Victor forgot to bring water for ourselves, only for the girls. So I was like, oh, could I have a cup of water? And he was like, I have bottled water. And I was like, oh, you can't just give me, like, a cup, because I saw one of those like fountain machines inside, and I was like, you can't give me a cup. He was like, no cup. Like, no, just like no politeness.
Is that the same guy or different person?
Same guy.
Oh,
same guy.
He was like, just stop bothering me.
Yeah, and I saw someone else go ask when he was open, and I just like started cracking up because she probably got the same response as me.
But like, give me a time frame. Is it a minute? Is it 20 minutes?
It's so weird. Anyway.
And a part of me is also like, you're in customer service. You know that you're in customer service. Like, you can just be neutral too. You don't even have to be like kind.
Totally.
Or you don't even have to be super
just don't
nice.
Be rude, right?
Yeah, just don't be rude.
I guess he wasn't rude, but he was really skirting the line. You could tell he wanted to
because
be.
the zoo is open. Like the food inside the zoo should be open too.
Yeah. Anyway, file a complaint.
Talk to the manager. Okay. Another breaking news section that I have is, did you hear? Because we were talking about the toll earlier this week and how
the fast
in the past when when we were young, like if you're carpooling, it would be free and you can go in that lane. Now it's you have to pay to go in the lane, or it has to be actually 3 people instead of 2 people. I saw recently that they want to potentially institute a toll on all lanes. Like if you're using the freeway, all lanes. Yeah, because like there's a metric that we're not going to be hitting in California, and we're going to be like 2% off the carbon emissions.
Oh.
And my mind, I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like it is just gave me work PTSD, because I'm like, you are so focused on one metric. You're not looking at the whole picture. You're not providing anyone with any alternatives. And like, yeah, I'm sure people would love to not drive, but what is the alternative? Like you don't have any great bike lanes. You have no public transportation.
Yeah. And also, then you can't call it a freeway.
Okay, highway then, Emily.
But that makes zero sense. Like, it's kind of like our friends were talking about getting charged for a sauce bar at a shabu shabu place or whatever. It's like, everybody needs sauce. Don't charge them for it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs the freeway, unless all the companies agree to not make you go to the office.
Maybe they should have the companies fund this. Like, how else are we supposed to get to the office?
Yeah.
Or anywhere, really, that's outside of our little
Well, I hope that doesn't pass. That's super annoying.
So they're welcoming public input. And I was like, obviously the public isn't going to like this. Obviously.
I think the public would have a resounding no.
Like, find another way to fill that 2% gap.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, that's enough breaking news.
Okay.
Which is really just my rant section.
It's Teresa's vent session.
These are the things I was mad about. All right, pop culture.
Pop culture. So this one, I don't know if you've heard of this. It was actually brought to me by Victor. He said that he saw something on social media where they were like, oh, you can tell if someone is Gen Z or a millennial by the type of socks that they wear. And apparently millennials wear kind of like the short no-show socks, which I'm guilty of that. So I was like, that seems accurate. And then the Gen Z wear these like longer, very visible, they like intentionally like tuck their leggings or their pants into the socks. I haven't seen that, so I think I just don't get out enough to interact with Gen Zs.
I saw that too, and it reminds me of like the Gen Z style reminds me of how my kids dress.
It actually reminds me of how I dressed when I was like 7.
Yeah, like the longer socks, right?
Tuck in your pants into the socks.
Like what toddler has no-show socks, you know? Like they're all wearing the longer ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was a good one.
Funny. I just feel like Gen Z is just recycling like what we did as kids and then like claiming it as cool and innovative.
Is Victor a millennial?
No. Remember? Oh. He's the Gen X, which I forgot in one of the episodes.
But he's the younger Gen X, right?
Yes, younger Gen X. Just missed the cutoff for millennial.
Are you going to start buying higher socks?
No, I'm just going to like be proud to be a millennial, I guess. Although I do like some Gen Z fashion stuff or like how you talked about how they pose more naturally. I think we could all do that, but I'm going to stick with my socks.
I only have no-show socks too, unless I'm wearing boots in the wintertime. But Steven wears Gen Z socks.
He's so hip.
It's really, and it actually used to embarrass me as a millennial.
Now he's cool.
Now he's the cool one, I guess. Good to know. And it's very obvious too because he only wears shorts. So at least he's not tucking anything.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk to you about TikTok Asian girl.
Okay.
So sometimes when I'm scrolling TikTok, I like how there's a lot more influencers that are very diverse and I'm fed a lot of Asian girls and I look at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like so different, but also really relatable at the same time. And in my head, I'm like, they could be my friends. and then I like get off my phone. I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh no, I'm like clearly 10 years older than them. And so when I look at them and look at me, I'm like, I could have been friends with them in my 20s. I want to be friends with them now, but they don't want to be friends with me. Aww. But wouldn't it be fun to have like a meetup with these influencers?
Yeah,
that are based in the Bay Area?
I can relate, although it's probably not Gen Z in my plate, but I have some like mom influencers I follow on social media. And I'm always like, man, we would be really good friends. And sometimes I'll randomly respond to their stories knowing they'll never see it. But like, it just gives me a little bit of happiness being like, hey, I'm responding to my friend.
Are they big influencers or micro influencers?
It's like hundreds of thousands, but not millions.
Okay, that's a lot.
You know, like Laura is. And there's another one I like called Happy Bays. And her second one, named Avery, is like such a trip. I just love her. She has like curly hair. She's chubby. She loves to eat. She used to remind me of my younger daughter when she was really chubby as a baby. And I just always was like, oh, I wish they could be friends. But she lives like on the East Coast, so.
Yeah, well, the ones that I look at are micro influencers, so they haven't made it super big yet. And some of them even have like full-time tech jobs. And I think they're all in the Bay Area.
Oh.
So I'm just like, we could totally, like, do I know you? I could probably find you on LinkedIn.
Let's do a meetup.
They're probably like, who are these two random old millennials?
They could be my mom.
Yeah.
But we couldn't.
Look at their no-show socks.
For the record. I wanted to tell you about Selling Sunset. It's on season 7, which I didn't get any sort of like news on my social channels that it was back. But then I just saw it on Netflix, luckily. And I don't know if it's because I watched Selling Sunset when I first had Cassie. So I was in like my mat leave mode and I would always have like, you know, a show that I would watch while I was resting. So I feel like I have this like emotional attachment to it, even though the show itself has kind of gone downhill. Like it's really crazy to watch how they dressed in season 1 versus how they dress now. And I just don't find any of it believable. Like, I'm just like, this feels super scripted or at least like encouraged because it's just all drama and so outrageous.
What season are they on now?
7.
Oh my gosh, it's 7?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought it was 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And yeah, they looked a lot more natural in season 1
so much more natural and just realistic. Like, they were all pretty still, but now they just have like super skimpy outfits where like half their boobs are out. They're always wearing super high-end, like Amanza, she didn't even have a purse. She had a Chanel basketball as a purse one day. Like, she was just carrying it, had this like carrier, and it wasn't a purse at all. So it's like, who does that? It's not functional and it's heavy, and you're taking it to go like view houses.
Wait, she had a basketball as a purse? Like, the basketball opened up?
No, it didn't even open up. It wasn't functional, but it looked kind of like a ball purse. Yeah, because it had like a handle. And then one other girl took like a hot Cheeto out of like her Birkin. It was like, you want a hot Cheeto? I don't know. It's just
That's
very
relatable.
I guess so. But would I put hot Cheetos if I had a Birkin? I don't think
Are there
so.
a lot of new characters on the show this season?
This season, no. It's all the same characters continuing their drama from last season. I will say one person that I think I definitely misjudged was Romain, who is Mary's husband.
Young husband.
Yeah, he's very young. He was like in his, I think, mid-20s in the first season.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he seems a little bit like, gold digger or something because she was like much older. But they're still together. And in this season, he shows he's like very sweet to her. Something happens, which I won't spoil. And I'm just like, oh, I definitely misjudged him because even his look, he looks like a little bit, what's the word?
Sleazy?
Yes.
Slimy?
Yeah, sleazy. Yeah. But I guess he's not. And he's also very hardworking, it seems, because he's doing a lot of the like contract work for the Oppenheim group.
So would you recommend watching it this season?
I mean, I'm still watching it. And I know I hate on it, but I think we all secretly want to be them too because they're like super rich and fabulous.
Yeah. When I watch them too, I think I'm delusional because when I watch them too, I think I could just like that and I could be fashionable too. But it's just not realistic. Like, imagine those outfits and
and they're always like touring houses with lots of stairs and like super high stilettos.
Yeah.
I just like feel the pain when I watch it.
And they all act like it's not happening. They must have some numbing cream or something.
Yeah. Or they're all on like Tylenol.
All the time.
I'll keep watching it. And I think I also like it because you know how I miss LA. And that's definitely not the LA life that I led. But you still see like bits and pieces here and there. And I'm like, oh, I do miss, that nice sunny weather and just that vibe.
I do like how aspirational it is. Like, everything is beautiful, curated. Like, it's not relatable by any means, but it's fun to watch. Real Housewives of Miami, Emily, since you're going to be doing some homework, is a good one because that show is just so colorful, like so Miami. Like, they're very, I wouldn't even say they're pretty glam, but they're also very, their style is very unique to Miami because they're like actually, many of them are born and raised or have lived there for decades. So that's a good one.
I don't think I've ever been to Miami. I've been to like Orlando and I've been to Fort Lauderdale to leave for a cruise.
Very different.
But never Miami. So one day I'll have to go.
I think you would like it. In your 20s, you would definitely like it. Steven's also never been.
Yeah, I've aged out of like the partying era. So
yeah.
The beach. I could enjoy the beach.
Yeah, but then you could just go to Hawaii. Like, why are you going to run around with a bunch of 25-year-olds?
That's true. And be jealous.
Parenthood section?
Yeah, let's do the Parenthood section, but I don't know if we'll have time for all of our other random thoughts today. So Cassie is turning 2 in a week, or a week minus 1 day, which is really crazy. I'm semi-excited because I just feel like Charlie is so much easier than her right now. But anyway, our goal is to drop the binky, which is a pacifier for those of you who don't have kids. And she has only one that she'll take, which is super annoying. I don't know when this developed. Maybe in the beginning, she would take multiple pacifiers. And now it's this one wubbanub, which is like a pacifier connected to a unicorn. It looks so nasty. It's a pink unicorn. I'll show Teresa because I have a new one that she rejects. It looks like this.
Cute.
But hers is all scraggly and it looks a little gray. Like that's how much she uses it.
Color.
And we do wash it, but it's just kind of like beyond repair. And then the pacifier is falling off. So I'm like, maybe that's a good thing. Like when it falls off, we'll just be like, oh, it broke. But anyway, the reason that people are supposed to drop pacifiers is because it's bad for their teeth. Mm-hmm. Some say it also hinders their speech, but I don't think that's an issue for Cassie because she like talks way too much and talks in like sentences. But it made me think, well, she'll need to get braces anyway. Like, I kind of figured that from even before I think the binky made an impact. And then I was thinking so many of my friends, I don't know if you did, had braces as kids and then still had to do like Invisalign or something as an adult. So you basically like had to pay double.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
I did.
You did? Oh, okay.
I had braces as a kid.
And then did you do something as an adult too?
No, but I've always wanted to, or I could do it if I,
Yeah, because I know a few people who did. And then I'm like, well, should we just save the money as their parents and be like, you know what? You deal with it when you're an adult and you have your own health insurance because you're going to have to do it again anyway.
Well, I feel like my teeth were pretty bad. And so I do think it's worth it because they fix like 85, 90% of it to get it into like generally the right spot. And then it just kind of like drifted apart a little by little. Right. And so I think the Invisalign, or if I do it in the future, could help with that last 10%. But I do think it makes a big difference. I guess it depends on like what your baseline is.
Yeah. I never had braces as a kid, which I think I'm in the minority.
Yeah.
And part of it was like my teeth weren't that bad. So I think my parents were kind of like, it's not worth the cost and the effort. But my brother had braces. And then I just had Invisalign as an adult and I felt like it worked well.
Yeah. But it kind of depends on your kid too. Like, would it help boost their confidence? Depends on how bad their teeth really are.
That's true. I don't know. I feel like the new generation is like really accepting of differences.
We'll see what our kids' generation are like too.
What are they? Gen Alpha or something? Like, does it restart after Z?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, we'll have to Google that for next week.
Yeah.
Alpha.
Sounds good. Okay, should we end it there?
Yeah, sorry, listeners. You won't get to hear all of our random thoughts. If they're still relevant next week, we'll tack it on.
We'll definitely tack it on.
But thanks for tuning in, and please remember to rate, review, and share.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.